I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
This is Collateral Cinema. Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from San Antonio, Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast. So whatever you have, be it dabs, be it blunts, be it bongs, be it joints, smoke it if you've got it. And welcome to part 2 of our special indie film mega review featuring selections from the FirstGlance Film Festival. Last time we did short movies, and this time we're doing the 3 feature-length movies that were sent to us by filmmakers involved who had selections in the FirstGlance Film Festival, which happened about the beginning of November, I think, right?
Yeah, something like that. And they actually announced, the nominees for the and the winners for the FirstGlance Film Festival.
Yeah.
So none of the films that we're talking about had won any awards. I went and checked it out, but nonetheless, they're very interesting films. I mean, I definitely would have nominated some of these. Both the movies, the short films that we talked about in the first part, and some of the feature films we're going to talk about today.
Oh, yeah. And these are some interesting movies. We have one documentary. We have one based on a true story. And then we have something that's not necessarily a movie so much as it is a web series, kind of, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it could totally be cut into a full hour-and-a-half long movie, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. The first movie we're going to talk about, though, is a movie we just watched not too long ago. Like, literally, Dakota and I, we pretty much just watched this movie like an hour before the podcast.
I just watched it today.
Yeah, it was interesting. We just watched that one, and I was, what was it, hour 15 minutes, something like that?
Yeah, it's the shorter of the movies that we are featuring here, and that is Right Before Your Eyes, which is a true story about a man named Ethan. He's actually inspired by the director and his life story and whatnot. And it just shows his journey from being an alcoholic to trying to go sober, going to the Bethesda Mission, which apparently is a real place. That's a real rehab outreach center.
They mentioned that in the end credits, yeah.
Yeah, they did. And they do great work.
Not to mention, this movie was, as it says, inspired on true events.
Yeah, exactly.
How much of that is true, I'm really curious about. I know that the director, actually does have an autistic son. And this movie hit home for me because, I have Asperger's.
Yeah.
So, just that storyline with his autistic son and connecting with him really struck out to me. And I mean, bro, I cried at the end of this. This movie is really emotional.
It's definitely emotional. I didn't necessarily cry at the end of it, but I got the twist. There is a little bit of a twist at the end and how they actually lead up to him finally seeing his son and finally getting his life fully together and everything. And it takes a little bit of a tragedy to do that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It took me by surprise, although to my understanding, Dakota kind of saw it coming, right?
Twist. I saw it coming a little bit, and it wasn't too much. I mean, I didn't, foresee a lot, but near the end, I kind of saw where they were going with it. Yeah, I saw that this was a religious movie right away. It was pretty obvious kind of what they were doing here.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about that. And that's what's interesting because we already did a religious movie on our last episode, and that was the unintentionally hilarious Buttercream Gang. And I know that we ragged on that movie hardcore, but that's because it's unintentionally hilarious.
Right.
This right here, it's a religious movie, but it doesn't seem like it's really trying to push that down your throat hardcore. I mean, it does quote some scripture here or there, and the framing of the conversation between the dude Ambrose, the larger man that he's talking to, and Ethan,
played by Brian Anthony Wilson.
Brian Anthony Wilson, I might add, yeah. And also Brian O'Halloran is in this movie from Clerks, which is really cool. Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't really hit you over the head with the religion aspect.
No, it's more just like good ethics,
Yeah, it's definitely something I can get behind. And, I'm not religious, but in generally religious overtones kind of bug me. But in this case, I think it worked well. It's a well-intentioned message. Definitely some points that I agree with.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. This isn't a God's Not Dead type of movie that's propagandizing or anything like that. It's nothing like that.
It's not ham-fisted in its approach.
Yeah. Nor is it ham-fisted or cheesy or unintentionally funny like the Buttercream Gang or the Pretender or something like that. This is firmly more focused on the story of Ethan and his journey towards sobriety.
Right, definitely. And, that's a noble cause. And, kind of putting, even if you don't believe in God, putting faith in something greater than yourself. And your, the way I see it is you're part in the universe is definitely, I think, important. And it's an important message.
Yeah.
And realizing that, you need to be a good father for your children, or
exactly.
In other cases, maybe a good family member for your family, or just a good person overall for the people around you.
Yeah, and it doesn't discount Ethan's actual personal story when he was a kid and everything, which I'm going to tell you, to me, those were the most uncomfortable scenes of the movie involving Ethan's father. It's just like, oh man, that hit close to home.
Yeah,
it's unnerving. I mean, it really is to watch that, because he's honestly, his father's an asshole for no reason.
Pure asshole.
I like how this movie, dedicates itself both to, families with disabilities and also, alcoholism, which is very prevalent throughout, is the theme of alcoholism and how much it hurts not only, the people around them, but the person themselves. And you kind of have that pathos, with Ethan struggling with the same issues that his father did with alcoholism. And while he's not necessarily, nearly as much of an asshole, not an abusive person, definitely, it's something that cost him his family still, and even his friends,
Yeah, he definitely hit some low points, needless to say. I mean, especially when he's literally being dragged out of a bar and everything drunk and trying to call and talk to his son while he's drunk and everything.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just how stuff like that goes sometimes. And, people do get better. They do, kick the bottle. They do kick their addictions, and sometimes they can relapse. But, for the most part, I mean, some people, they do really kick that shit. And they really stay off of it. And they really actually do right by their families.
Yeah, and I like how this movie treats that alcoholism, because in a way, regardless of how how fair you think it is, alcoholism really is a disease.
It is. And
yes, it is made, it's a disease that's inherited by some choices that you make, but that doesn't mean that it's any less of a disease. In any less of the way that, a sexually transmitted disease is made by choices that you made, but it's still a disease that you have to deal with. And, treating it as a disease is really what works. Don't take away from that. I don't care if you think that's fair or not. If it works, it works. And so, I really think that it's, I like the way that this movie portrayed that. And for a movie that's very religious, that kind of goes against a little bit of, that conservative right message.
Yeah.
Where, alcoholics and drug addicts are treated like, I don't want to go into it, but you know what I mean? Where it's pinned completely by choice, and we fall into this trap where we don't want to help people. But, look at this guy. He got back on his 2 feet because of the support of his family and his friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he definitely had a support system in place for him. And I mean, even though they had to engage in some tough love here or there, which, I mean, to kick addiction, that's necessary,
Yeah, and that comes full circle. I don't want to spoil, I guess, too much, but obviously, he's got some relationships in his life that he has to also deal with appropriately.
Yeah.
It's another one of those situations where it's not fair, but sometimes, and I think this is a very Christian message, but I think a good one is the idea of forgiveness, of grace, of saying, you know what, I'm going to do better to you than you did to me.
Yeah.
Especially, right there at the end, if you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly, at the end and everything.
And
also, I do like how the movie, it doesn't completely demonize alcoholism. You know? It shows it's in its appropriate context.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, Dakota, what do you think? Do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, it was a good movie. I mean, short film, I guess I should say. I really liked the message it gave, like Ash said, but more so, I feel that there were some inconsistencies that I was kind of like questioning. I mean, if the character that was supposed to be this angel character, which I wasn't sure, he was on the train with them, but before he.
It's a narrative device, and if you watch the very first scene, you actually don't see him right away. Whenever you go up to Ethan in the train,
you don't see him, and he's not sitting there. So I noticed that. I was like, "Who is this character?" And was he always there?
See, that's one of the things I did kind of assume, is that he was going to be like an angel, guardian angel type character,
and I saw that coming. That's kind of why I saw the ending kind of being the way it was.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
your Morgan Freeman-like character.
Yeah, definitely. But final thoughts on this one. I liked it. Yeah, I really did. I think that it's a great message. I mean, it's not beating people over the head with an agenda or demonizing anything, and it just presents it's obviously dramatized, but it presents a story of addiction and redemption, and that's cool by me.
You're right. I agree. Yeah. I think it's a good message, and people should watch this and truly follow by the good ethics that it portrays.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, this is definitely a good one to check out. Like, I mean, even if you don't particularly care for religious messaging in your movies, it's at least not going to be vitriolic or anything like that,
No, yeah, it's very, very positive, and definitely the aspect of religion that I do like. Overall, I mean, the movie, right away at the beginning, I noticed that the dialogue was just a little bit cheesy, but then once I got invested in the characters, I didn't notice as much. And like I said, I mean, legit made me cry. I mean, there's definitely some emotional manipulation going on, and it tugs at your heartstrings. You really, sympathize with the character, even if you haven't struggled through that particular thing. It's laid bare for you. And, really with that twist at the end, that tugged on me. Yeah. But overall, it's a very empowering movie. And honestly, I would recommend it. It's for anyone, Yeah.
How about you, Dakota? we're watching one of the movies right now as we speak. And Dakota's a little entranced by it.
That's okay. He kind of gave his final thoughts on it.
He did. Well, anyway, that's right before your eyes. Totally check that out wherever you can find it. I'm sure that we'll provide some links in the show notes and everything. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next full-length movie that we checked out, and it's actually our first documentary, which was actually really interesting. I mean, I like documentaries a lot. I think that they have a lot to really give to the world of cinema. There's a lot of filmmaking techniques that have come from documentary filmmaking that are used today in other genres.
Oh, right. Well. It's a different type of storytelling. Yeah. In documentary, it's more informative. Yeah. And it's usually, nonfiction.
Yeah. And that's always compelling, especially if you find the right kind of topic. And this topic, I mean, some people might dismiss it a little bit.
Yeah, I was a little iffy when you said boy band.
Yeah, but I found it to be very compelling. And that's the movie I Used to Be Normal. And this it's a documentary that takes 4 women from 4 different generations, pretty much, and 4 different generations of boy bands, and it just dives into their lives, into how their fandom actually influenced their family life, their life at work, the career paths that they took, and how they grew as people because of these boy bands. And I'm going to be the first to say that when I was younger and my sister was listening to stuff like NSYNC, I trashed on that shit all the fucking time.
Always.
I hated on it. And nowadays, now that I'm older, I just kind of see it for what it is. And even the movie kind of elucidates what it is. It's a formula. It's a product. And, especially since I became an audio engineer and started getting involved with stuff like that, I can see the merit in that. In the end, it's a business, and you got to put together the right group of people with the right talents and the right look, and then you put them out there, you write music for them, and you put a product, you put a brand out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought the movie was well put together, and if anything, it did lay out, I think, some of the reasons why people enjoy boy bands, but I really just didn't connect very well because I still can't really connect with the idea of just obsessing over these people.
Well, really, I mean, to me, this movie is more about fandom in general than anything else. It's about the nature of fandom. And I
got that. That's the part that I kind of could connect with. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be so quick to judge because there are things that I'm obsessive about. I love anime and video games.
And I saw a lot of parallels in that fandom. I mean, especially when one of the girls was going through all of her Backstreet Boys stuff and going back and looking at all of her paraphernalia and her memorabilia and everything, it's like, I mean, I still have a lot of my anime and metal posters from when I was younger in storage as well, It's just that, like, I don't know, I could have never dated a girl that was obsessed with boy bands because it's good, like, am I sharing a relationship with someone else? Do we have a third member in here? Because these girls, if you listen, they legitimately want to marry the people that Well, yeah, that's just part of the phenomenon, though. I mean, and a big part of that was when they brought out that older lady that was there for Beatlemania back in the day, how her fandom has persisted all these years. I mean,
that's where I disagree. Okay,
yeah,
the Beatles. I'm sorry, the Beatles are not a boy band.
Oh, they are still definitely a boy band.
I will explain.
Though.
Okay, boy bands have this image. They're cultural phenomenons because of the way they're set up, and that's all there is to them. It's very artificial. But it's very surfacey. Their music really isn't that deep. It's completely intentional. They're heartthrobs, and people like them because they're hot and they sing well. The Beatles are a cultural phenomenon. They're known for making great music. You don't have to be attracted to them to like them.
Some people would probably beg to differ on the Beatles. There's some people. Me personally, I'm very lukewarm towards them. Like, there's some songs that are good, but it's like, I'm just like, I could go without listening to them.
Well, I mean, they're on drugs the whole time, so...
Not the whole time.
True, not the whole time, but most of the time.
See, their earlier period was pretty much their boy band period. That they were a boy band.
Sure, maybe in the early days, but their music, I think it does mean a lot more because it's not just about art, surface things. It's about their experiences, and it's about them all tripping on drugs, but that in and of itself,
well, that's something that the lady in the movie doesn't go that far into because she's particularly relating her experience of Beatlemania, of that particular zeitgeist,
But I mean, I digress. I know I'm just harping on boy bands here. I did enjoy. I think the girl that this kind of the titular character in a way.
Yeah.
The girl that says I used to be normal. She was interesting because if you noticed over time, she had the influence of the boy band, but she grew up. Yeah. And if you notice in her later, times, she stops talking about One Direction. She's actually kind of more just talking about herself as a musician and what that means to her. And, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And of course, there is the lady that's actually a lesbian.
Yeah.
But she admits that she and her lover are both, her girlfriend or her partner.
That's what I found interesting about her story was how her love for that particular boy band, it really helped influence how she viewed her sexuality, and it kind of helped her deal with that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not going to really, nowadays, I don't really rag on people for that shit because, there's very personal reasons that people get involved in certain type of fandoms. It's a very deeply personal thing.
And I guess I can understand that. I guess I can understand, the idea of obsessing over something because it really connects to you. I mean, I'm a fucking weeb. I fucking will tear up watching Naruto and shit. So,
of course.
My wife thinks it's weird. So, she used to be, a big believer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which in and of itself is kind of, thematically similar to the idea of a boy band. Except,
very much thematically similar.
It's just Justin Bieber.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I used to be normal. I think as far as an actual documentary, it hits all the notes. It definitely kind of brings a different perspective on those types of fandoms. And that's what I found interesting.
It definitely brought some perspective. I think the film itself was really well put together.
Yeah.
And, kind of walking through, each of these people's lives was really interesting. And seeing why they were so interested in, their particular boy bands.
And I liked how it was an intergenerational look.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows that, this stuff has been with us for a while now as a culture.
Yeah, so. And with all of these, generational differences going on right now, where you've got millennials versus boomers, I think that really is important because it just shows that we're not as different as we think we are.
Yeah.
We definitely, we do have subcultural differences and differences in values in some cases, but ultimately a lot of underlying things are very similar, which is foundational to being human.
Yeah, definitely.
I think part of human identity is wanting to belong to something, being part of something, generally, and you'll find this in common with most people, is that they feel the need to be a part of a group. It's why we have, these like polarized politics like we do today.
Yeah. It's not even peculiar just to a particular brand of entertainment.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's with everything. People like to belong to something. And it's weird because I myself am a very individualized person. I take pride in my individuality and like the things, but even then I still fall victim to crowd mentality from time to time. And I think boy bands is not an exception to that.
Definitely not, especially when you look at Beatlemania.
Yeah.
Which was that was almost like it was almost like a public hysteria in some ways.
Yeah, I still hold that the Beatles are a pop cultural phenomenon that kind of transcends just the typical things that boy bands are.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, their music is influential on society even today, and I cannot say the same thing about One Direction.
Yeah,
or
but let's
Backstreet Boys or NSYNC.
But let's not pretend that at least early Beatles before their classic rock period, they weren't just trying to sell an image. Hell, they even re-recorded some standard songs. Like Twist and Shout.
Well, that's how you get yourself out there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do those kind of things, especially when you're starting out like that. They weren't as popular, and so they needed to get themselves out there, and they got their faces out there, and then they got their good songs out.
Look at movies like Yesterday. Yesterday was kind of outlined this. It's a very strange movie, but
yeah,
I did like how it did focus on how much people loved the Beatles and kind of pushed the idea that their music was so good that even someone who didn't have that image, and this was actually talked about in the film, was able to get massively successful because the songs were just that good. Is that true to life? I don't know. Maybe their image really did help, and they mentioned it in the movie because he's trying to sell this, and his agent is like, you're ugly, like you have to up your image now because people aren't going to listen to you as an artist unless you're attractive. So I guess that really speaks to
But then I don't know. I don't even know if I want to see Yesterday, honestly.
I liked it all right.
Doesn't interest me that much, honestly. I mean, the premise is kind of interesting, but you could probably do that with pretty much any other band you could think of.
It's a very odd movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think about it as a Beatles movie so much as a movie that the plot just happens to intertwine quite a bit with the Beatles.
Right. It's not one of those movies like Rocket Man or,
Bohemian Rhapsody.
It wasn't meant to be like that, but it came around the same time, so everyone expected it to be.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because of just this guy who the Beatles were forgotten about,
Yeah, that was interesting. But, but back on topic, I guess. I Used to Be Normal is, it was interesting. I definitely didn't... And then that's actually really important to note here is that even though like I have no interest in boy bands and that topic just doesn't interest me, so I expected that I wasn't really going to want to pay attention to this. It actually did keep me interested. I managed to keep my eyes on the screen while I was watching it. I wanted to know what was going to happen. And
well, that's very much where the actual the filmmaking aspect comes into play. Like from a filmmaking angle, it's well shot. I mean, it hits all, like I said, it hits all its notes as far as a documentary is concerned, and the whole framing of the different generations of boy band fandoms was also very compelling to me. Just showing that it is kind of a little bit of a constant, and hell, they even the journalist lady, she even broke down what the actual formula entails. On a dry erase board.
Yeah,
and everything,
and that was interesting too to see like what different things have to work in together to create the boy band.
What surprises me is that in that formula they did Hanson actually wasn't involved in that. They actually said like Hanson is not technically a boy band.
Yeah, I remember that. One thing they mentioned also is the idea of like a clean cut image and stuff, which is another point where I disagree with the Beatles because they were druggies.
But that came later on. It was all about
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That came later on. That particular period that older lady experienced. I mean, that's a different kind of Beatles right there. That's their early years. It's just that's just different.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's different from what came out on Revolver and all that shit, or Sgt. Pepper's. I mean, it's totally different.
Okay, I'll take it there.
Yeah. But, I mean, final thoughts on I Used to Be Normal. Ash, what do you think?
Again, very interesting, very well put together. I'm not a documentary person. I'm usually bored by them, unless it's a topic that I'm particularly interested in myself. Like, I mean, I'll watch Neil deGrasse Tyson all day. I fucking love Cosmos, Carl Sagan. But
well, who doesn't? I mean,
who doesn't, right? Yeah. But if it's a topic I'm interested. I like it. Boy bands is a topic I'm not interested in. And documentaries in general and topics I'm not interested in, I'm just not interested in. But
yeah, I
liked this. So it is a documentary and it's a topic that I don't relate to at all. And I enjoyed it. So I guess I think that speaks.
Yeah, that's what makes it a good documentary. It takes a topic that you normally would not really think about or really discuss, and it actually gives it some scrutiny,
Yeah.
And I mean, for fuck's sake, we've been sitting here and talking about this whole time. I mean, I never talk about these types of bands or this type of music or anything ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I just more or less remember when I was younger and, my sister was into NSYNC and everything. And of course I was into nu metal at the time, which you could argue is pretty much just boy bands for fucking disaffected white males at the time, pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what they were, like, I mean, look at Korn, look at Linkin Park. I mean, yeah,
okay, I see what you're saying.
They're pretty much like boy bands in some ways, just with a different image, different product, different style.
You can kind of apply it to, like emo bands.
Yeah. I mean, hell, a lot of those bands ended up being on Total Request Live, which at the time was like huge for both, poppy boy band, type music, as well as, Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. And also you had your Korns and your Limp Bizkits and your fucking, your Linkin Parks. I mean, they were charting on that shit as well. So, I mean, there's that parallel there. So,
yeah.
That's why now I see that hatred maybe being a little absurd. Like, I mean, I find boy bands now to be very inoffensive, and, they're not the end of music,
Yeah, they're definitely not.
There's a lot of other things that are ending music right now. Not bands like that.
Their music isn't typically bad.
No.
It's catchy. It's good. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But they're not bad.
Yeah. Dakota, what do you think about boy bands and the like?
No comment.
No comment.
I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I've listened to some boy band songs. I mean, they're not usually too terrible, but it's like Ash said before, they usually don't have much meaning to them, and they're usually kind of soulless, and they're just they're talking about some girl, and
they're a product.
That's about it. Yeah, they're a product just trying to be sold, and
sometimes some people do that product better than others. Like, look at K-pop right now.
True.
I mean, K-pop is huge, man, and it's basically taking all those tropes from those boy bands and just kind of taking them to their logical extremes. Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, I mean, the girl group and boy band thing has been around for ages in Japan. I mean, they pretty much perfected that formula.
I really don't get the K-pop thing, and believe me, I like some J-rock myself.
I remember
that I was introduced through anime, but
well, what about J-pop?
J-pop, yeah, I could dig it. Some of the more poppy anime songs also, pique my interest. But but the whole K-pop boy band thing, like, I don't know.
I mean, K-pop is essentially, if you just took J-pop, just basically injected a shit ton of pixie sticks into them and then just let them loose.
I like Gangnam Style. It's a Korean song.
Gangnam Style. Well, Psy was more of a hip hop.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that's a Korean song that I actually like.
Oh yeah. Well, everybody liked Gangnam Style. Let's face it.
Not everybody, especially those people who never didn't pronounce it correctly.
Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style.
He literally says Gangnam.
I know he's saying the song.
Gangnam Style.
How do you fuck that up?
I don't understand.
I don't
Makes
know.
No
man.
sense.
If I heard something said once the right way, that's the way I say it. Even if I mispronounced it before then, like
yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand why people don't do that. Have you noticed that? Like, people will continually mispronounce things even if they've heard it the right way. Like me,
no matter
my
what.
Brain goes, "Oh, that's the right way to say that." Okay, I was mistaken. I'll start saying it that way from now on.
Yeah.
Why doesn't everybody do that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. People are weird.
People yet another tangent.
Yeah, just in general. But yeah, my final thoughts are, as I said, it's an effective documentary about a topic that people like me wouldn't necessarily think about all the time, and it applies the right kind of scrutiny to it. And honestly, by the end of the movie, you really see how these people have grown. You know, like especially the One Direction girl.
Yeah,
and it's totally fucked up that her parents fucked up her music career. That's totally fucked up. I know.
You know, I was thinking, I was like, she said she was like 18. I was like
baby girl.
And her parents wouldn't let her go to a college she was accepted into.
It's like, baby girl, just go to the fucking college.
Just go to the college, move out. Yeah.
Fuck them.
I was like, why are you listening to your parents? If that's what you want, just go do it.
That was a cultural thing, though. You know, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that was a girl, like, her family was from Turkey, right?
Yeah.
And then there was, like, the Backstreet Boys girl. Her family was from Pakistan.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what that boiled down to.
I suppose so.
I don't know. Hopefully she ended up following her dreams and got some type of music recorded or something. I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah. But anyway, I Used to Be Normal. It's a very interesting documentary, and I recommend checking it out. Definitely.
Yeah. I say check it out because it definitely will. If you're particularly jaded like I am on the boy band thing, like it will kind of at least allow you to get into the mindset and, you know, maybe think, you know, am I a hypocrite? Because I mean, most of all of us have something that we're kind of obsessed about that when we think about it doesn't really matter when reality, but
weeaboo.
But damn, he
isn't that part of what makes humanity beautiful, you know?
Man, he even just cupped the fucking mic for that. Jesus Christ.
He did.
Oh, god damn it. Well, anyway, yeah, it's a great documentary. Check it out. And now we're going to go on to the final movie of our mega review. And actually calling it a movie is a disservice because it's not necessarily a movie. It's just a full season of a web series.
I'm learning that as we go.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that it could totally be recut into a full movie if you take out all the credit sequences and everything.
You're right, because that's what I'm doing, because I'm watching it currently as we speak, and I'm skipping all those parts, and I am just watching it as a movie.
And the movie we're talking about is Blackbetty. It's directed by Marco North. And this is quite possibly the most art house movie out of all of these shorts and features that we've done here.
See, it looks like Marco North did everything for this movie because I saw his name a lot.
He did. He wrote, directed, produced, and shot this.
Damn,
Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah,
there it is.
No, yeah, he Tommy Wiseau'd it.
Is that you?
he totally did it, except this time, you know, we didn't get the room. We got Blackbetty. And it's interesting because these are not so much episodes, they're more like vignettes a little bit, right?
I don't know what's going on. Like this one was like 30 seconds long.
It was just art house Dakota. Think back to
right.
Well, you weren't with us for Gummo.
No, I wasn't.
So you won't understand.
I watched part of it though.
It's one of those things that you can't really describe it. After watching Blackbetty, I still I get the major premise. It's these people in this country, Saltova.
Yeah.
That you know, some kind of disaster happened. All these people are like in comas and whatnot, and so it's the lives of these people, you know, while they're being quarantined. But a lot of it is very disjointed, and so it's just kind of. I mean, it's very artful and it's very interesting.
Well, the first episode,
but you're kind of like, what's going on? There's no context.
Yeah.
There's no context. And in the first episode, it tells you that it was filmed entirely in New York. So that was the only episode that I've seen so far that it's not filmed in Moscow. It says the rest is filmed in Moscow, Russia.
Yeah, the rest is in Russia. There's actual Russian actors and actresses in this.
They speak Russian with English subtitles.
And there's some English spoken in certain episodes. Some.
The final episode is filmed entirely in their living room, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Filmed entirely in green screen in our living room.
Oh, yeah. That was a real trippy ending. I'm just like, wait, what?
We're still kind of like, what was going on with that?
Yeah.
What's going on in the first place? I mean, it's just weird. But I mean, I get it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch.
It's basically just vignettes of these people just living under this quarantine in this weird Russian or Ukrainian country or something.
It's like an amalgamation of a bunch of stories of a bunch of people, but very short and simple and like artful.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I mean, there's some kind of symbolism being portrayed here. I just really haven't watched it enough to really suss out what it is.
Right. That's where I'm at. You know, I watched this and I was like, I know that there's something underneath this, and I'm really trying to dig at it, and I can't quite figure out what it is.
I'm going to tell the truth. I almost wanted to do a full standalone episode on this because there's just so much to really dive into here.
There is. It's really interesting. You look at humanity differently.
Yeah.
When you're watching this, you know, because like there's one episode where, you know, you're seeing two boys and they're just the way they're so glum and they're bleak about the world. But pretty much all the characters are all bleak and they're glum and they don't care because it's like basically the end of the world because everybody's in comas or some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
and these pills, that's the titular Blackbetty.
Right.
That's what prevents this coma from happening.
But it makes people go crazy.
Yeah. It's very strange. I mean, what do the pills represent? I mean, what is the affliction that has been unfurled here? Like,
I'm thinking
what's
maybe
going
some kind of you know, humans are the problem and they always have been the problem. You know.
Yeah, but it never really goes into the hows and the whys as to what's happening.
Right.
With it.
They don't, and so you don't have enough context to really tell.
It's just basically a single premise where all these different vignettes kind of branch off of, more or less. So, I mean, and also cinematography wise, I mean, especially for being shot by one person and everything, it's really, really cool.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, he didn't do most of the editing, I think. I mean, they have a colorist and he had a little bit of a crew here, but I mean, the color grading always fits the tone of the series. I mean, it never
just bleak usually. That's
very bleak.
That's
it's bleak, but it's also kind of banal.
Right. Bit. I see what you mean.
Yeah. It's very just not, you know, standing out in any way. And it's that way on purpose, I kind of feel. You know, because it's a desolate situation that everybody is kind of
None of our
here.
characters stick out. I mean, they're all just like nobodies, and you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a straight protagonist here.
No protagonist,
antagonist.
No real plot with anybody's like character per se. Just, I guess, the overall plot, which is it's a worldwide pandemic.
Oh, no, it's not worldwide. It's just in this one country.
What about in New York?
And he was talking about that country.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Remember,
okay.
He was kind of like a man on the street conspiracy theorist activist.
Gotcha.
Type,
okay.
you know,
well, there were no other people in that scene, just him. So I wasn't really. There were a couple, but you said there were only a few hundred people or something like that. So I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I got you.
You know what? I really wish we had our resident filmmaker here with us.
I know, man. Damn it, Robert. Why couldn't you be here? No, we all know why you couldn't be here. He had to work.
Seems like we're missing one person or another a lot of episodes. Like
Yeah.
God damn it. I know.
Last Indie Film Festival episode was me, and this one it's Robert. What's going on, man?
You finally got your shit together, Dakota. We had to do an intervention.
Yeah, we have to stage an intervention.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, it was an intervention. Lots of letters were exchanged. Everybody cried.
Oh,
David
look. Here's hot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we're watching Blackbetty right now.
We're watching Blackbetty right now. We're at the this blonde.
Oh, this guy. He
Russian
was the
chick.
tattoo guy.
Yeah, he was. But what's his role in all of this? I mean, near the end, there's like some kind of delivery that happens. I'm not sure what that is.
He delivers a special kind of pills.
Oh, yeah.
That's better. That's only for pregnant women.
Oh, okay. See, even after watching this, I'm still finding out shit about this series or movie or whatever.
She seduces him into it.
Oh, okay.
And it's really interesting because it's these people doing what they need to survive.
Yeah, it's very much a survival thing that's going on here.
I guess he's one of the volunteers that they talk about. One of the volunteers that brings the Blackbetty medicine. Is that what he's supposed to be?
I guess so.
He's bringing Blackbetty.
Okay.
But she's getting she is asking for premium shit, and you know.
Okay, look how she's less crazy than the other ones here, less like, you know, psycho and like bleak all the time. This is less bleak than the other episodes were.
Yeah,
maybe because she's getting premium shit. I don't know if that's supposed to be high grade weed or if it's like, you know,
high grade
Reggie. I don't know what's going on
high
here.
High grade pills or something.
Yeah,
like that.
You know,
medicine.
You get some 5-star ecstasy. You got some 1-star. I don't know what's going on here.
God damn it.
Yeah, it's really, really, really intriguing. I definitely found my eyes glued to the screen. I think out of the feature-length films we watched here, and in this case, you know, this series, this was the most interesting. I think this is the one I liked the most because just the direction that it took, and looking at it from a cinematic angle.
Now, Ash, what's up?
They're fucking. That was quick.
Yeah, it's very, very quick.
That was a quickie.
Yeah, it's not even that attractive or anything.
No, he just kind of nutted in the end.
Yeah, they're just fully clothed. Oh, well, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, it's the end of the world in your area. I mean, the end of the country.
Ash, since you were there for that episode, did you get a little bit of a Harmony Korine vibe from this?
I did. That's kind of why I brought up Gummo earlier.
Yeah, it's almost like a less offensive version of Gummo.
Yeah, I mean, they don't steer away from from language or from topics, but it doesn't quite go to the extremes that Gummo did.
Yeah, and yeah, those are some hella extremes there.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's like racism laid bare.
Yeah, like casual to the point where it's like second nature to those people.
Yeah,
and there's nothing like that here. I'm talking more in just the way that locations are used and the way that the camera work is done. It does have a little bit of that Harmony Korine early, kids Gummo feel to it, kind of.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it also has a little bit of a Lynchian vibe, somewhat, right?
Oh, I wouldn't know what to tell you there, but
oh, that's right. You weren't there for Eraserhead.
I wasn't part of the team yet.
Damn it. We're gonna be revisiting some David Lynch very soon. Like we kind of need to.
Yeah, I definitely want to check out some more Lynch.
I mean, Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway. I mean, fuck the entire Twin Peaks series and movie.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah, he made an entire television series. You didn't know that? It was a huge thing in the 90s.
Oh, now I know.
Yeah, that's something we're gonna have to binge sometime. Like you guys are gonna have to fucking see Twin Peaks, like without a doubt.
I'm down for watching anything.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that on the podcast. The Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me is a crazy ass movie, and it's a perfect book into a crazy ass series.
Well, we're maybe looking at Collateral Cinema Season 4 building up a little bit.
Definitely. It's gonna have to be that. Without a doubt.
So I'm guessing the medicine, the only thing I could think of is it messes with your head too. Not only does it keep you alive, but it fucks with you. I mean, these people get weird, dude.
Oh yeah.
This is weird stuff. This Blackbetty, there's something in it. There's like methamphetamine or something.
But,
I don't know what's in it.
But of course, we never find out what's really the deal is with the Blackbetties.
Then there's a gun in her fridge. You know what I'm talking about?
I think it stops them from sleeping too. So they're
does.
awake all the time. It's a stimulant.
I know.
So is that what's going on here? Is this just constant insomnia on everybody?
That's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just because it doesn't allow them to sleep. They don't ever get sleep, so they become insomniacs.
But so they go crazy.
You'll see this in a minute. They still dream.
So it's day sleeping.
Right.
That's
they
interesting.
Have daydreaming.
Yeah,
so it's like daydreaming. That's so weird, dude. I don't even know.
So that even adds a different element to this. It's like how much of this are these daydreams and how much of this is the actual waking world.
Right. I guess the more of the physical moments, the dialogue, maybe those are more real. But like the artful ones where you saw this weird lady towering over
an entire city,
right? Mountains. That's more of a dream in art form, a daydream type thing,
or the ending as well,
or the ending,
yeah. But I mean, I really enjoyed watching this, and I actually kind of like the vignette angle to it.
Yeah, gotta say, I'm intrigued, definitely.
Yeah. Although I do think it would be cool if Mr. North found a way to recut it into a full movie, just take out the credit sequences and everything.
I think that could work. Although, if you watch the intro credit scenes, and believe me, I was trying to skip some of them too for time's sake, but if you do stop by and watch some of them, it does change a little bit with the intro.
Right. You can even see a few details regarding the actual narrative in some of those as well.
We need more exposition between the scenes and then put it all together.
You didn't watch Gummo, see?
No,
so
exposition is not necessary.
I guess that's why. I guess I'm just used to more exposition, and so maybe this is interesting. I'm intrigued by
also,
it, really.
What do y'all think about this maybe even having a Black Mirror vibe? Kind of.
Yeah. So you watched Black Mirror, so you know this. That's good. I didn't know you watched it.
I remember the Bandersnatch that I didn't particularly like.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't even Black Mirror. That was one Black Mirror movie episode. You got to seriously watch the show, dude. It's trippy.
So, but does this have kind of that vibe?
Yeah, that psycho. What do they call it?
Psychological thriller kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it really gets you.
And also maybe a little sci-fi-ish.
Oh yeah,
kind of.
The way they say it is like it's like this futuristic way of take it down the world almost. It's how technology is going to screw with us.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed pretty much everything about this. I mean, a lot more than I thought I would. Because, I mean, I'm not a huge binge a web series kind of guy.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm more like, I'd much rather just watch a full-length movie.
These are a lot shorter. See,
Yeah.
I actually like the idea of binging a series. I just don't have the time anymore. But if you think about it, it's like watching a really long movie.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it's not like I haven't seen certain web series that have that type of framework as well, as far as like just very, very short episodes that, you know, are self-contained, but they are part of an overarching narrative. Like for instance, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever heard of that or seen it, but
No.
that's a web series that has very, very short episodes, but I mean, they still perfectly put forth what they're trying to do, like, very well, honestly.
That's
what I like.
This kind of more reminded me of if we're comparing that with the short films that we did last time.
Yeah.
The last one that we, Eyes Open.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a very abstract short in its own right.
This is abstract, I think, in much that same way.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely feel like it has a point to it. I'm just still trying to figure out what the point is.
What the point is, right?
And that's not a bad thing.
No, yeah, definitely. It's kind of like I said on the Shining episode. If the movie can have you talking about the movie afterwards, and a lot of times by being ambiguous, it achieves this.
Yeah.
You've accomplished something. Definitely, from a cinematic standpoint.
Yeah.
That's what you hope to accomplish, is leave your audiences continuing to talk about it.
Exactly. Well, final thoughts on Blackbetty, guys. What do you think?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm still watching it, and they're like taking daily midday naps and having dreams in the middle of the day. It's really interesting. I've never seen this kind of way of storytelling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
very interesting. I like it. Marco North is really creative. Great ideas.
And the fact that it seems like it's very much a passion project for him. I mean, he shot, wrote, and directed everything.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely something we respect here. Needless to say.
For sure. I mean, you hear all the Room references every day.
Yeah.
And we only tuned for Killing Night, guys.
Oh, Killing Night. Yeah, that's right. One of our movies. That's going to be interesting.
Directed, produced, and written by Robert Ortegon with some help from us.
With camera work by yours truly. So, I mean, I helped shoot it.
Mostly just you, Bo, and Robert.
Yeah, just me, Robert, and to some extent his brother and our friend Frankie helped out with it
too.
Yeah. So it wasn't just the two of us, but when we have that finished, we'll definitely find a way to distribute it and we'll get it out there. But anyway, guys, I really like Blackbetty. I think that it should definitely be maybe recut into a full-length movie. That'd be pretty cool.
I think it would be cool.
But it does work as its own contained series, though, and I like that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I really enjoyed Blackbetty. Like I said, it really fucks with your mind a little bit, and that's a good thing. I kind of want to rewatch it, and
me too. I actually do want to go back and rewatch it a little bit.
I really like. There's one specific episode of it where it's all ambient sounds. I think it's the second episode or whatever. But they spend most of the episodes just not that much music and mostly just dialogue or just weird sounds.
The most music you hear is in the intros to each.
Yeah. You don't hear that much, so it's really interesting to hear more just sounds and just listen. If you put a headset on and listen to this, like I'm doing.
Oh my God! Then I need to show you a little movie called Begotten.
Oh goodness!
Maybe we'll have to do that on the fucking podcast because that's literally what that is. There's no dialogue or music. It's literally just sounds.
That's a bet.
Well, anyway, I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up, guys. What do you think about our indie movie mega reviews?
I think that this was really a lot of fun, to be able to dissect these indie movies one after the other in one episode and kind of get a variety of different movies. So I definitely think at some point we're going to have to do another mega review like this where we take... I mean, obviously we want the indie films to have some kind of connection. In this case, the FirstGlance Film Festival. But here, I like the idea of taking completely different things.
Yeah. And we actually still have a couple of selections that people sent to us that they didn't really get back to us on. So we might do some standalone episodes on those.
That'd be cool.
There was a documentary on the rise of the Maserati car brand that looked pretty interesting.
Really?
Yeah, and I know Robert's going to really want to do that.
Of course he is.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely look forward to that. And if you are an indie filmmaker and you would like us to check out your movie, send us an email, DM us on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook, and send us a screener link. And maybe we'll check it out, and if we like it, we'll put it on the podcast and give it a review.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like we said before, I mean, we're not going to put on an indie movie that we don't like. You know, I mean, we are going to put on something that we can totally recommend people watch. So, I mean, definitely, if you want us to check out your movie, send it to us. Our email is Collateral Cinema Movie Podcast @gmail.com. Or, like I said, you can DM us on Twitter or Facebook or whatever as well.
Yeah, definitely. Send us your indie movie reviews and plug time. Send us your game. If you're an indie, game maker, Collateral Gaming is here to review your shit. We want to, hopefully it's not shit. Hopefully we like it. We'll focus on the good aspects anyway. We like to encourage.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to get some more indie games that people send to us so we can talk about other people's stuff, because we're talking about more mainstream indie games like Hello Neighbor right now, and and I would like to have some more community, games, and that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe apps one day.
And we are. I'm getting to that. That's in the plans. If you like Collateral Cinema Movie Podcast and you're not following Collateral Gaming Video Game Podcast,
what is wrong with you?
That's our other associated act. Dakota and I run it. Bo and Robert also hang out and
bullshit and trash on our podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. Get back to me when you guys do Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, whatever.
Seriously.
But yeah, we've got some special episodes coming up. I would like to. It's not a promise, but it's this is what we're trying to get set out for our anniversary special is an arcade game mega review.
Yeah, well, specific, is it going to be a specific genre of arcade games?
Specifically, it's going to be light gun shooters.
Yeah,
so like your Area 51s, your Virtua Cops, your Time Crises,
House of the Dead.
You've been pushing us to do this for a while now, doing on light gun games. So we are, pleased to announce either now or later our first arcade game mega review, light gun shooter edition.
Yeah, we're gonna go to an arcade, play a bunch of games. It's gonna be a lot of fun,
and then we're gonna talk about it. So
maybe we need to take a chance and download a MAME emulator.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Technically, we've got one. That's what we did to play Zelda CDI.
That's exactly.
But that's a Philips CDI emulator, though, right?
I can get anything, bro.
Yeah,
it's not just a Philips CDI emulator.
It allows for lots of consoles.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool right there. Awesome.
I want to get an actual, one day get an arcade in here, get a bunch of stuff. You can actually buy those at Walmart.
Yeah. They have the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, which I am so excited about.
They do.
They have Mortal Kombat.
I want to spend good money, drop down money, bid on something good, like an arcade machine in here.
Yeah,
Man,
that would be so cool.
Much fun.
We're building up this studio especially so that we can start videoing it. We'll have some video podcasts. So we'd like to decorate it, put some arcade machines up. We're gonna have a TV where we can watch movies while we're talking about it. So stay tuned for that. Eventually,
stay tuned.
You're gonna get to kind of hang out with us in the studio, which honestly you guys should take a look at it. It's coming together. It's pretty cool.
And if you want to help us make that happen a lot quicker, you can hit up our Patreon pages for both Collateral Gaming and Collateral Cinema. And you can become a patron at the $1 or $5 tiers. And
hell yeah.
We will, when we do have exclusive content there, we have film commentaries. And if we start getting enough patrons, we'll start putting out more content on that.
Yeah. No, we've definitely got some more stuff planned. There are some more film commentaries we want to do, and I'm on top of those Let's Play game commentaries for Collateral Gaming. We're going to release some of those very soon. Whenever I get my shit together and we've got more time on our hands.
Yeah, definitely. And I might as well go ahead and announce our next episode, which is going to be our Christmas episode for this year. We are doing Ron Howard's The Grinch, featuring Jim Carrey's awesome performance as the Grinch.
Yes, I'm really excited about this one.
I mean, that movie has some flaws, but it has some good points to it as well. We'll definitely get into all that. And we're going to have we're going to go ahead and announce this. We're going to have our first Skype-in guest. We're going to have the Victims and Villains podcast Skype in and help us analyze that movie.
Yeah. I'm really excited about it. We had a Skyping guest on our Red Dead Redemption episode on Collateral Gaming.
Yep.
So Collateral Cinema's following suit. We're going to have a Skype in. Super stoked about that.
Yeah.
And moving up.
And we're definitely going to be looking for more special guest hosts to Skype in from other podcasts or YouTubers or whatever. So if you have a podcast or you have a YouTube channel or anything like that and you would like to be a part of an episode of Collateral Cinema or Collateral Gaming, hit us up.
Yeah.
We'll set it up for you.
Hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Insta, Facebook, or at our email.
Yep. And you can find Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming on Chill Lover Radio. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you get your podcasts.
That's right.
But anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up right now. This was an interesting review. It's getting a little late now.
We're going to wrap it up like your dad should have done before he flipped your bomb.
Oh my God. Do we really have to go there?
Well, he's not wrong.
Oh, and this motherfucker.
Dakota, you were an accident, so...
Oh.
Go fuck yourself. Just because you were planned does not make you any more
all
special.
right. On that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Smashly Trashly Ashley.
I'm Chancellor Daco.
And we are Collateral Cinema. See y'all later.
My domination.
Collateral Cinema is an L Company production. All music and movie clips are owned by the respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.